Section 1C, the digital audit. I want to start by asking you a question that is as uncomfortable as it is dangerous. If I were to step into your life today and completely delete your social media accounts, your Netflix subscription, your habitual late night snacks, and your calendar of weekend parties, what tangible substance would be left of your life in 10 years? If you are being honest with yourself, many of you would have to admit the answer is nothing. And that realization is exactly where the problem lies. We have become so consumed by the frantic pace of living for today that we completely lose sight of the fact that a meaningful life is an incredibly expensive, long-term project. It is a bizarre irony of modern existence. People will spend three weeks meticulously planning a wedding or 6 months researching and planning a summer vacation, yet they spend 0 minutes planning the next 10 years of their actual life. Isn't that absolutely ridiculous? We experience a literal sense of panic if we lose our Wi-Fi connection for a mere 10 minutes. However, we don't feel that same panic when we realize we've just lost 10 years of our potential by doing absolutely nothing with our time. Section 2A, the microwave delusion. Look around at the current culture. People are desperate for six-pack abs in just 6 weeks. They want to build massive wealth in 6 months. And the moment success doesn't manifest instantly, they start complaining that the process is too hard. But let's look at the titans of industry. When Jeff Bezos was laying the foundation for Amazon, do you honestly believe he was worried about how much money he would make in that first year? He wasn't. He was completely obsessed with the long-term goal of building something that would eventually outlast his own life. Consider Elon Musk, who literally burned through his personal fortune on rockets while the general public laughed at his failures. 10 years have passed. Who is the one laughing? The reality is simple. If your mind is only focused on the next 10 days, you will always lose the race to the person who is thinking about the next 10 years. Life is inherently unfair to those who think in the short term. When your vision is too small, every minor setback feels like the literal end of the world. But when you are thinking a full decade ahead, a setback is no longer a catastrophe. It is just one single step on a giant staircase. Section 3, the secret of the decade. Here is the first secret you need to internalize. If you want to win at the game of life, you have to stop asking, what will I eat tonight? And start asking, what will I build in the next decade? This is vital because of one cruel joke. The next 10 years of your life are going to pass anyway, regardless of what you do. The only question that matters is whether you will still be standing in the exact same place, or if people will look at you a decade from now and ask how you managed to change your life so completely. The biggest tragedy of the human experience is how we segment our time. People spend their 20s chasing useless shortcuts, their 30s trying to fix the mistakes of their 20s, their 40s drowning in regret, and their 50s perpetually asking, what if? The problem isn't necessarily that life is short. The problem is that our thinking is too short. When I was younger and asked my friends what they wanted for their future, their answers were always small, a new phone, a better car, nice job. Nobody was saying they wanted to change an entire industry or build a legacy that people would still talk about after they were gone. Lack of vision is why most people stay stuck in the traffic of life for 40 years, complaining about their circumstances because their vision never stretched beyond the security of tomorrow's paycheck. Section 4A, Lessons in Resilience. Let me give you an example you will never forget. Think about Colonel Sanders, the man who founded KFC. He was a failure for the vast majority of his life. At age 65, a time when most people are packing up and preparing to retire, absolutely nothing to his name, but he had a recipe and he had a vision. He went door to door pitching his fried chicken. He was rejected over 1,000 times. He kept going because his vision was bigger than just getting a free meal for the day. Today, KFC is a global staple, but imagine if he had said, "Forget it, I'm too old," after the first few rejections. He succeeded because he thought years ahead, not days ahead. Most people today quit after a single rejection and claim the world is unfair. Of course, the world is unfair. Life was never promised to be easy. But when you have a 10-year horizon, single, no, becomes a joke. It's just a minor mosquito bite when you are busy building a skyscraper. Section 50, the slow cooker of success. We need to talk about the lost art of patience. I hear people say, "I tried for 3 months and nothing happened." Are you serious? 3 months? A human baby needs 9 months just to be born. You cannot expect to microwave success. You have to slow cook it. Companies like Apple or Nike didn't become global icons in a single year. The greatest achievements in the world require time, immense energy, and a level of stubbornness that most people find uncomfortable. It's a funny psychological fact. People consistently overestimate what they can do in one single year, but they drastically underestimate what they can achieve in 10. You think you can get rich in 12 months, and you likely can't. Yet, if you dedicate a full decade to learning, building, failing, and adjusting your strategy, you can literally change the destiny of your entire family. Reason 10, year thinking is so powerful is that it frees you from the weight of daily drama. If you only think about today, every little inconvenience bothers you. Gossip makes you angry. A lack of social media makes you sad. A boss shouting at you makes you feel like your life is over. But when you think in decades, these things become tiny and irrelevant. Who cares about gossip today if you know that 10 years from now, those same people will be lining up just to shake your hand? Section 60, architect versus tourist. The richest people on this planet don't possess superpowers. They simply think in longer time frames than the average person. While you are preoccupied with next weekend's party, they are building companies that will outlive your entire career. While you are panicking about this month's rent, are designing a strategy for the next 10 years. This is the fundamental difference between the average and the extraordinary. The real question for you is are you going to keep living like a tourist? Only planning your next immediate destination? Or are you going to live like an architect designing the next 10 years of your existence? Because here is a hard truth. If you fail to design your own future, don't worry. Life will gladly design it for you. I can promise you right now that you will not like the result. Most people aren't actually living. They are simply reacting to life, work, eat, scroll, sleep, and repeat like a hamster in a wheel because they never sat down to ask what they want their life to look in 10 years. Imagine getting into a taxi and telling the driver you don't know where you want to go, just to drive around. He will drive in circles, burn your fuel, waste your money, and drop you nowhere. That is exactly how most people live. But the moment you start thinking 10 years ahead, you stop being a passenger and you start driving the car. You begin to accept struggle and sacrifice now because you know exactly where you want to be a decade from today. Section 7 die. The price of greatness. Everyone says they want success, but almost nobody wants to pay the actual price. People want the mansion, but they don't want to miss the parties. They want financial freedom, but they don't want to save. They want respect, but they don't want to endure rejection. Success is like a high-end luxury item. If you can't pay the price, you don't get to own it. Think about elite athletes like Usain Bolt. Do you know how many years he trained for his races? He trained for more than a decade just to run for 9 seconds. That is the price of greatness. He didn't skip training because it was too hard. He thought years ahead, and that is why the world still knows his name. Thinking this way isn't comfortable. It means saying no to temporary fun so you can say yes to things that last forever. It means being misunderstood by friends who call you boring because they only think about today. But remember, enjoying life today at the cost of your future is the fastest way to destroy both. Warren Buffett famously said that someone is sitting in the shade today because someone else planted a tree a long time ago. Most people are constantly sunburnt because they never bother to plant anything. When you tell people you are working for a 10-year goal, they will think you're crazy. But don't be discouraged. People who think small will never understand those who think big. In fact, if everyone claps for your dream, it probably means your dream is too small. Section 80, The Power of Paper. My challenge to you is simple. Take one evening, sit alone in a quiet room, and write down exactly where you want to be in the year 2035. Not next year, not in 6 months, 2035. Who will you be? What skills will you have mastered? What kind of life will you be living? If you don't write it down, it will never happen. A dream that stays in your mind is just smoke, but a dream on paper becomes a plan. 10 years from now, you are either going to thank the person you are today or you are going to curse them. The choice is yours, but beware of the most dangerous word in the world, later. Latter kills more dreams than failure ever will because later almost always becomes never. Back to 10 years ago, you had dreams then, didn't you? You said, one day, I'll start this or that. Where are those dreams now? For many, they are still in a drawer collecting dust while 10 years passed with zero change because you kept saying later. Look at J.K. Rowling. She was a broke, single mother living on welfare, but she didn't wait for later when life was easier to start writing. She wrote in coffee shops while her baby slept, enduring rejection after rejection from publishers. She kept going. Harry Potter is a global empire. Once you truly see the future, you lose the ability to waste the present. You realize that reading one book today doesn't change your life, but reading 100 books in 10 years changes everything. Saving $1 today feels useless. but saving consistently for 10 years is the foundation of wealth. Working out for one day shows nothing, but doing it for 10 years is a total transformation. Section 9E, the bamboo breakthrough. Most people fail because they want visible results immediately. And when they don't see progress in a week, they quit. That's why gyms are packed in January and empty by March. But the people who commit for years are the ones who eventually inspire others. This path will make you lonely because not everyone can see your vision. When you stay into work, friends will laugh. When you say no to parties, they'll call you boring. When you invest instead of wasting money, they'll call you stingy. But 10 years later, those same people will be the ones asking you for advice. Steve Jobs was mocked when he talked about putting a computer in every home, but his 10-year vision changed the world. Greatness always looks like stupidity in the beginning. Are you willing to look stupid today so you can look like a genius tomorrow? Are you willing to suffer now so you can shine later? Everyone pays a price, either the price of discipline now or the price of regret later. Regret is the most expensive bill in the world because it can't be refunded or negotiated. Success isn't about talent or luck. It's about perspective. Think of the bamboo tree. You water it for 5 years and absolutely nothing happens. No growth, no signs of life, just empty soil. People will laugh and tell you that you're wasting your time. But in the 5th year, just 6 weeks, that bamboo grows over 80 feet tall. That is how long-term thinking works. Most people stop watering in year 2, but winners keep watering until the breakthrough. The story you tell 10 years from now depends entirely on the decisions you make today. If your vision is strong enough, rejection and failure just become training and teachers. The next 10 years will pass, whether you plan them or not. You can waste them in the same cycle or use them to build something extraordinary. Stop thinking about what you'll eat tonight and start thinking about your legacy. 10 years from now, your future self is watching you. Don't let them down.